colleague of the with us from San Francisco is a colleague of the woman you just heard, Jesse Hahnel. He's executive director of the National Center for Youth Law. It was one of the civil rights organizations behind the so-called Flores Agreement. You've heard of that in the last few days. That agreement intervening in 1997, which dictates how children are to be treated in the federal system. The reason you heard of it is, famously, it says children can't be locked up, detained for more than 20 days. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Where are we in this legal process right now? I understand there's a lawsuit underway.
Sure, absolutely. So the Flores settlement has been in effect since 1997, and the government has agreed to abide by certain provisions, both related to the conditions that detained immigrants should be protected in, and also when they should be released. We've spent the last year going to these detention facilities all around the country, conducted hundreds of interviews, and what we found is appalling and horrific. And so back in April, we filed a rather extensive motion to enforce, demanding that the government follow the Flores settlement.
When you say you found appalling, horrific conditions, can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, I set out the bare bones, the outline a minute ago.
Sure. Everything from children being forcibly medicated, held down on the floor and injected with drugs against their will without parental consent, to youth being strapped naked to chairs with bags over their head for days on end. These are not trivial things. These are systemic violations of the basic human rights of children in our country.
But your organization acts as a government watchdog on this, essentially. And so you have the power, as you said, to go in and check how they're being treated, and then hold those centers to account. So when you talk to them and you point this out, what have they said to you?
They deny that it's happening or deny that it's a problem. They've defended.
How can they deny it's a problem?
They simply say that these things are not violations of the Flores settlement. I can't comment on this litigation because it's pending, but the most recent thing that the administration has done, pursuant to the executive order, is asked to be exempt from provisions that prevent the administration from indefinitely detaining children.
Right. The administration is trying to essentially break up the Flores ruling, correct?
That's correct.
And with a view to keeping children for more than 20 days.
Right. The children should not be raised by an institution. They should be released immediately to their families or loved ones or caregivers. Children, research has shown over and over again that children don't do well and suffer incredible trauma when they're detained. The Flores settlement does allow the government to detain children and families if certain conditions are met. And these are basic minimum conditions upon the type of facilities in which these children are warehoused. And the government is asking to be exempted from those basic minimum conditions.
But as far as the treatment of the children, I mean, you say you can't comment on the lawsuit, but essentially is the government saying this is okay? We're allowed to keep them on a chair for 2.5 days, as has been alleged, or is we're allowed to keep a paper bag over their heads, or we're allowed to give them injections that they don't want?
I'm not going to speak for the government.
But okay, on the other side of this lawsuit is the government, though, right? It's not just independent centers.
That's right. The government has filed their own defense in which they're saying that denying some of these allegations, as Mr. Trump has done, saying they're fabricated, and another time saying they don't fall under the Flores settlement. And I should be clear, these children are protected not just by the Flores settlement, but also by the U.S. Constitution.
Jesse Hahnel, thank you very much. It's been very interesting speaking to you. We will continue this story, and it'll be interesting to see what the litigation amounts to. Thank you, Jesse.
My pleasure.